So, yeah, Amazon, Swin Cash, this Amazon team. Kelsey, shout out Kelsey Plum. Shout out Kelsey Plum because she wasn't falling for it. If you guys don't know, with Amazon Prime, this is why I hate FIFA games being on Prime, unless like it's Candace Parker on. They hate Caitlin Clark. Like before their last game against Atlanta, which was on Amazon too. I think it was Amazon. If you guys don't know, the entire pregame show was shitting on Caitlin Clark. The entire pregame show was just shitting on Caitlin. It was 5 minutes of just complaining about Caitlin. And they were trying to then teach Caitlin Clark, this is how you play defense. And I'm like, what? Like, you're like, oh, you got to force somebody into... I think it was something like, oh, yeah, you need to do this, and force them into the help. And I was like, that's the problem. There's no help. It doesn't matter where. You can't force someone into the help if there's no help. There's a bunch of times, if you look at the game, where Caitlin is forcing someone into where help is supposed to be, and she just gets burned. Like... I don't think people understand. Like, people are like, oh, Olivia Miles has been better in defense. Like, yeah, she forces into the help, and the help's there. The help's there. But before the game, I shit you not, the Indiana Fever, Swin Cash was asked what was the key for the Fever winning. And Swin Cash said, basically, and we know this is direct towards Caitlin, stop complaining to the refs as a key to winning the game. I'm sorry, it made no difference. The Fever winning that game had nothing to do with whether or not she complained to the referees. It had nothing to do with that. It had zero to do with that. And then after the game, this is the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. It's the most hilarious thing because this is just buzzwords.
They kept a fresh body on Caitlin at all times. Look, Caitlin had 26 points, right? Mm-hmm. All of her baskets, she had somebody right there. It was rare that we just saw an open shot. And so they were applying pressure all day long. But the Fever, sometimes when you get into a situation where the ball stays in her hand a little bit longer, the stretches where other players aren't touching it.
Yes. Yeah. And I just want to add on to, with the defense and deflections.
And like, my biggest problem is that you're singling out Caitlin Clark. She is the only player on this team that actually looks to pass the ball. Like, I understand, yes, Caitlin Clark is a heliocentric player. Yes, there are positives and there are negatives to a heliocentric style of play. I really wish Chris Paul had never got injured. If Chris Paul had never got injured, James Harden has a ring. Does it affect anything about basketball at all? No. But it would give you a prime example of heliocentric can win. Obviously, anyone who understands basketball, just like, yes, you can win with a small player. Yes, you can win. People thought you couldn't win with a non-defensive center. Nikola Jokic proved them wrong. People thought you couldn't win with a small guard leading the show. Jalen Brunson proved them wrong. Everything is you can't until it happens. Until it happens. You can absolutely win if you have the right pieces with a heliocentric system. Like, let's be real. If in 2024, if fucking Jason Tatum tears his Achilles a year earlier, the Dallas Mavericks win the finals in 2024, and suddenly Luka Doncic has a ring. Does it affect Luka Doncic as a player? I understand legacy and stuff, but does it change anything that Luka Doncic has done as an individual player? No. If a style of play can get you to a finals, you can win a title. I think everyone... It's the only it's only an American logic, because it's like, oh, you know, and not even that. Fucking LeBron James played heliocentric basketball in 2016. He did. You can win playing like that if you have the right pieces there. And the problem is that the Fever don't pass the ball at all when Caitlin's not on the floor. Like, I shit you not. Like, let's take a look at yesterday's box score. So Caitlin Clark doesn't play 9 minutes. The Indiana Fever, when Caitlin Clark has 7 assists and 5 steals, the rest of the Indiana Fever, or 5 turnovers, the rest of the Indiana Fever team, 9 assists, 12 turnovers. 9 assists, 12 turnovers. When Caitlin Clark wasn't on the floor, they struggled to pass the ball to their teammates, period. Like, it's like, oh, you know, it's Caitlin's fault that this team, that, like, they don't share the ball. No, it was an ISO game. It was literally Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin going, your turn, my turn. When Caitlin wasn't on the floor, Kelsey Mitchell just went dribble, 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 and put up some bullshit and they went in. Even the first half, I remember saying it, I'm like, look, you're always okay with Kelsey Mitchell chucking bullshit when it goes in. Like, you're always okay with that, because if she goes and, like, again, is chucking up her bullshit and it goes in, that's good. But it's like, it's not a, process-wise, it's not something that you're going to succeed with long-term unless you have the right pieces. And again, around Kelsey, you can win with Kelsey Mitchell as your first option. But you got to surround Kelsey Mitchell with, like, you just need to have a bunch of dogs and defenders. You need to have a bunch of athletic defenders out there, but the Fever don't. The Fever don't. Yeah, it's a pity. It is a pity, but I hate it. I hate it that you're seeing the media, and it's Amazon. It's always Amazon. This person played great. I need a reason to blame him simply because I don't like him, Luka. And do you want to know who, by the way, again, has said this exact same thing about Luka Doncic? Fucking Stephanie White. Like, I don't get it. And the Fever move the ball less when Caitlin's on the bench. If you want to say, if you want to criticize a style of play, cool. Caitlin Clark is the most willing passer on this team. I don't think you people understand how few assists the Indiana Fever get as a team without Caitlin Clark. That isn't Caitlin Clark. Again, Caitlin Clark doesn't play. They don't assist at all. It's Kelsey Mitchell ISO buckets. They in the playoffs last year was just Kelsey Mitchell ISO buckets, Natasha Howard struggle buckets in the post, or Aaliyah Boston post-ups. Like, the Fever don't create open looks without Caitlin Clark on the floor. And that's the problem. If you want to say that's the problem with having Caitlin Clark is that you're forced to play this heliocentric style, then it's like, that's fine. But at this point in Caitlin Clark's career, her value on the trade market is way too high to keep her on your team in the hopes that eventually she adapts. As in, like, in 2 to 3 years' time, Caitlin's going to have next to zero. Like, Caitlin's on a max contract. And the problem is again, like, Caitlin is not guaranteed. It's between Caitlin and Kelsey. Like, Caitlin becomes an untradeable asset on a max if she, like, if it turns out that Caitlin can't adapt in any way and she picks up another injury, Caitlin becomes an untradeable asset. Like, she becomes an asset where it's like, they don't really know how many, like, what she's worth or how much she's going to be a benefit to a team. And yeah, for me, I'm like, I'm watching this and I'm just there thinking, you're seeing the media going at her. And the worst part is there's valid criticism about heliocentric basketball. I think it can work. And, like, I think for me, the biggest criticism of heliocentric basketball is that you need a very specific team for it to work. You need Iverson Sixers. You need, like, I think if you replaced Jalen Brunson with Luka Doncic, especially in the finals, where the game becomes a lot of isolation possessions, if you replace Jalen Brunson with Luka Doncic and surround the same team, Luka Doncic wins the ring playing a heliocentric style. Like, it is what it is. But you have to have the right team. But it's not even that. It's just, this is Caitlin Clark's problem. Caitlin Clark's the reason why her teammates don't get involved. No one on this fucking team passes other than Caitlin Clark. This is a terrible team. Like, you have one good passer. Raven Johnson can't play offense. Ty Harris is like for lack of a better way of describing it, Ty Harris is one of those old school point guards. As in, she's your Mario Chalmers point guard. Sometimes gets the ball to the halfway line, will shoot when they're wide the fuck open, and will pass the ball and get the fuck out of the way. Like, it is one of those things where we've now got a situation where, like, she's getting blamed for a team that's just not there. It's just not it. It's just not it. And it's easy it's an easy cop out for Caitlin Clark, and I understand, what, she's the best player, but like, she's also apparently not the best player according to them. It's horrible, and I saw from Tony East, and he's absolutely right. The big three suck together. They suck together. The problem is as I said before the year, and this is not blaming anyone, because Caitlin Clark is not an adaptable player, and that is a flaw in her game. And I've said this from the very start. But my prediction, I had a it was, what was it? It was like a hot take for the Fever. And my hot take for the Fever was that the Indiana Fever were going to start off the year 500. They were going to start off the year 500. I need to see if I can find it here. There we go. And for the exact reason. 500 through 20 games. And by the way, they've had an easy run. 500 through 20 games, while the team is caught between the up-tempo style of CC basketball and gritty iso balls got into the playoffs. It's exactly it. You've got a situation where a team's just not clicking. But it's like, oh yeah, Caitlin needs to adapt. Man, they were like it's Caitlin's fault. It's always Caitlin's fault. According to this, it's always Caitlin's fault. And yesterday's game, Caitlin was shit when she came back on in the fourth quarter. I'll give her that. She was fantastic through 3 quarters. Fantastic. Anyway, see you guys.